but
Whoa! Wait, where's the goat mask? You promised. You vowed. You declared, I will wear the goat mask.
That's what I thought.
Huh?
I mean, we did what we're supposed to do.
Really?
We don't get too high with a win.
You don't?
We don't get too low with a loss.
Quick question. Did LeBron play last night? I missed him. I didn't.
He was like Brady in his last Super Bowl. He did just enough.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, well, yeah,
Really?
you see the key plays that he made.
You know, I would like to congratulate your Los Angeles Lakers for winning their first playoff game in 8 years. It was May 18th of 2012. Way to go.
That's a good point.
There you go. You just
That's tradition. That's history.
You don't want us to have a moment, do you? Can we have a moment?
No,
Let's talk about that.
Let's
talk about it.
You said it's about, no, you don't want us to have a moment.
LeBron was a bit quiet. We will get to that, guys. We have a packed show. Chris Haynes will join us from the bubble with an injury update on Dame. Michael Rappaport will be here fired up. But how about we begin by starting with what we saw last night? The Lakers did bounce back against the Blazers to even the series. Anthony Davis led the Lakers with 31 points on improved shooting from their Game 1 loss. LeBron finished with a quiet, let's say, 10 points, 7 assists, and 6 rebounds. But it was LeBron's pep talk that AD credited for his improved performance from the previous game. So, Shannon, how much do you trust that we'll consistently see last night's AD going forward?
Well, this is the mindset that he needs to have going forward, Skip. This is why everybody loves him. Skip, you see what he's capable of doing when he says, you know what? I'm better than every you-know-what out here other than maybe the guy that I'm playing with. And if I just go ahead and say, you know what? I'm not settling for jumpers. You saw his mindset? He's like, I'm putting it on the floor. Skip, they played him at the 5 a lot last night. And when they played him at the 5, they outscored the Blazers by 15 points in 15 minutes when he played the 5. Skip. I mean, that's what, and you see him, he's like, Nurkic, you can't guard me, bro. On the floor to the basket. Whiteside, you're too slow. Skip, there are not very many 7-footers plus that can move laterally when you were that side. And AD took advantage of that. And when they slumped off him because they was worried about him going by them, he was shooting pregame jump shots. This is the AD that we needed to see. He's running the floor. LeBron's finding him. He's like, you know what? Let me get it off the bat. I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll just take it off the rim myself. I'll get this offensive rebound and stuff it back home. He was active on both ends of the court, and this is why someone that can run the court like a David Robinson, has touch like Elijah Wan, and can defend.
Yep.
He's a very unique individual. This is why you say, yeah, he's a top 5 player. Yeah, he's a top 6 ball player. Because he showed you last night what he's capable of doing when he does not settle. Now, Skip, sometimes he settles too much, and we saw that the first game, and we've seen that a lot in the bubble. But last night, he had a mindset, I'm going to dominate this game. I'm going to dominate their bigs, and there's nothing they can do about it. And when he plays like this, no one, and let me say this for the people in the black that might be doing something.
Yep.
No one can see AD when he brings this mindset into a ball game.
Yep.
Skip, it's only one game, but I think AD and the Lakers showed what they're capable of when he has this mindset. And if they can just knock down a few shots, you saw KCP. When KCP started making a few shots, now that lane can't be as clogged, and LeBron and AD can get to the rim, although LeBron missed a few easy ones last night. I thought he played well with his nice passes, rebounding the basketball, did a great job defensively. But this is the Lakers that we expected to see once the restart started. This was one of the first times that I thought, you know what? They look like a team that can contend now.
So I re-ask Jenny's question to you.
Yes.
Do you trust that AD in the next game, and the next game, and the next game?
Skip, look, the likelihood of him being this active, but I trust him to be aggressive. That's all Skip, I can live with the results. I can't live with you shooting 30-footers. I can't live with you when you're not putting pressure on the defense. If you score 18, but you're aggressive, I can live with that. You saw him put it on the court floor last night. Hassan blocked it. Okay, I'm going to come right back. Give me a second. Tony Brothers, give me the ball, because I'm going right back at it. I like, Tony Brothers, Tony Brothers, Bill Kidd. I kind of like that group last night.
Did you? Yeah, they were good to your Lakers.
They tried to cheat my Lakers out of possession. Dame laid the ball up on one end, called timeout, and then they give it to him again.
That is
LeBron
true.
said, "What? Oh, wait a minute. It's not a ball."
He was mic'd up. Maybe
we-
he shouldn't be mic'd up. Maybe that just got in his way. Maybe it distracted him.
Man, that little bit of mic, that mic's about this big. It don't have no impact.
Before I answer the question
Okay.
that you didn't quite answer, but I'm going to hold you to it in just a moment.
Okay.
My biggest takeaway from last night was that's what should have happened in game one.
Yes.
I'm sorry. Portland, to me, just turned back into pumpkins last night. That's who they are and who they should be. And I realized they were averaging 126 points, and somehow they got held to 88.
Right.
And I give the Lakers high marks. They were more intense on defense. They were more dedicated. They played harder and smarter on defense. But if Dame and CJ don't just go off, one of them has to.
Yes.
Or they are sunk.
Yes.
And last night, their nickname Trailblazers, they were trailing the whole way. They trailed those Trailblazers by as many as 33 points. It was a complete and utter demolition by your Lakers.
Right.
Now back to your man, AD. I sometimes call him in the fourth quarter all done, but it didn't matter last night because Portland was all done by halftime.
Well, he literally was all done.
He was all done. He was sitting and watching. Correct. He was cutting up over on the bench with one LeBron James. They were joking and having a good old time, as they should have. So back to the question at hand. This, to me, is getting really weird. This man is so supremely gifted. There's no doubt about that. There is just no doubt. What are we going to give him, 6'10"-ish?
Yeah, he's 16. That's what they listed. I think 6'10" and a half.
With very smooth guard skills. He was a point guard in high school, and he sprouted up as he went to Kentucky.
Grew out of it.
He did. And yet he can still handle. He can run the floor, like you said. He can play small and big in the same game. And by the way, if he does get his three-point stroke going, he is a very good three-point shooter. I agree. What do you have, 3 out of 4 last night? But do I trust him to do this the next night and the next night? I'm sorry, I can't, because I don't see it. I'll give you every third or fourth game, because that's sort of the rhythm we see from him. Every third or fourth game, for reasons I can't quite fathom, somebody either pushes his button or he pushes his own button. And at tip from jump, he's like, I'm here.
You could tell last night.
You could just tell. And it's not like he plays with rage or supreme urgency. You can just tell his body language is different because the basket is his. He's not going to shy from it. He's going to own the basket. He's going to own the paint.
Yes.
And he comes with a different level of aggressiveness. It's not even aggression. It's just aggressiveness to where he's in his attack mode. And when he is, it's usually big trouble for the opposition because he is capable of dominant monster games.
Yes.
So what have we seen in the bubble so far? The restart, the seed games. We saw him against the Clippers on opening night. He was strong, man.
Right.
I mean, he was a pillar.
Right.
And he goes for 34 and 8. And what I also love about this man, this still young man, is he is a free throw making machine. And against the Clippers, he made 16 of 17 free throws. And then a few nights passed, and here came Utah. And he absolutely destroyed a 2-time Defensive Player of the Year, Rudy Gobert. Would you say he turned him into?
Oh, great. Yeah. He made a mess of him. Great Poupon.
Great Poupon. Okay. 42 and 14 was what he did that night. And he makes 4 out of 8 3-pointers against the Jazz. And that was the night I sat back and said, whew, if he keeps doing that, they're going to win the championship, right?
Get 3-pointer falling, you can forget it.
You can just forget it. Yet, in 4 games in the bubble that they lost, and they lost 4, these are the restart games, the seed games, they lost 4 games that he played in, and he averaged 12 and 9.
Right.
What? How can that man average 12 points in 4 losses? It's incomprehensible. It's inexplicable. It's impossible.
Right.
You can't do that. But he did. He averaged 12 points. That's the guy who went 42 and 14 on Rudy Gobert, who had no chance against him. Rudy Gobert, again, looks like he's got cement shoes on half the time, but again, he can camp in the paint just control it. It's just hard because what do we call him? 7'2" or
easy?
Whatever. Yeah,
easy 7'2".
Okay, so in game 1 against Portland, The final numbers didn't look too bad. What was it, 28 and 11?
Yeah, 28 and 11.
But this is not good. 8 of 24. You can't. You told me you can't live with that.
No.
You can't live with 5 3-point attempts. None of them cashed.
Correct.
Right? 0 for 5. And in the fourth quarter, I definitely can't live with this. This was an all done fourth quarter because he only took 3 shots. That's not enough.
No.
And he only made 1 bucket.
Right.
That's definitely not enough. And he got to the free throw line only 1 time with about 4 minutes left.
He missed
and he
that.
had a chance to tie the game. And he missed them both. Okay, that's not the guy that you need to win a championship.
No.
But then somehow, as he said last night after the game, he said, LeBron, he said, I was so upset with myself. I was so down on myself for a day, which I don't like to hear because superstars don't get down on themselves. They get angry, but they don't get down. He gets down.
Right.
He's got like a softer nature inside him, and he's a good guy. He's a great guy.
Right.
Maybe to a fault. Sometimes I say that about LeBron. He's such a nice guy. It's almost like to a fault. Don't take it so personally seriously.
But Skip, you have to look at AD from this perspective. In New Orleans, if he had a bad game, who cared?
Nobody cared.
But now he's with the Lakers and what the expectations are. And now you hear every radio show, every talk show talking about how AD disappeared in the fourth quarter.
Correct.
And he wasn't aggressive as he needed to be. So this notion, Skip, you know you hear it all the time. You've been hearing it for 40 years. Man, I don't pay attention to the paper. I don't pay attention to what they say. Bull jive.
Bull jive. Bull jive.
You hear it.
I agree. In New Orleans, he could get away with a 28 and 11 game in which he shot 8 of 24 because nobody cared.
You're going to say, oh, man, AD had 8. It wasn't his fault. He had 8 of 3. He had 28 and 11.
Yet you, after game 1 loss, said, him.
Yeah.
He